Okay.
Ted Koppel did a segment for the Sunday CBS morning show on PEADS because Trump had made a comment that he is able to do far more than anyone realizes. So if we could go to that first cut with Gary Hart.
Okay, Gary Hart. All right, here we go with that.
Even though I've had security clearances for the better part of 50 years and been in and out of national security matters during that half century, I had never heard of these secret powers.
Do you know what they are now that you've heard of them?
Only vaguely, due to research done at the Brennan Center for Justice at New York University Law School. What these secret powers are, apparently, based on the research, is suspension of the Constitution, basically. And that's what's worrying, particularly on the eve of a national election.
Yeah, he used to be, he ran for president, in case anybody doesn't remember that. So, yeah.
All right, so that is pure stupidity. He says, 50 years I have had clearance. I didn't know about it till the Brennan Research Institute or whatever it's called. You know what? How many of our other politicians are unaware of it? And it's perfectly okay.
Are you saying for sure he was? Was he unaware, or is he just saying?
Sorry.
Is he just claiming to be unaware, or was he really unaware?
No, he really was unaware.
Okay.
Clueless. And that's fine that he's clueless. I'm curious with all that has come out since Biden took, the presidency or the fake presidency, but how many of our other politicians are aware of that? What we do know is the FBI went into Mar-a-Lago because at least Nancy and Chuck Schumer are aware of PEADS, and they were hoping that the PEADS were in the safe and that they could have gotten the Presidential Emergency Act documents. So now, can we go to the next one of the woman who works at the Brennan Center?
Okay, there we go.
Several times during his administration, President Trump has made allusions to secret powers that he has that we don't know about. Is he making that up?
Well, not exactly. And what's alarming about that is that no one really knows what the limits of those claimed authorities might be, because they are often developed and kept in secret.
Goitin says what little we do know about PEADS comes from references to them in other documents, some of which are now declassified.
They originated in the Eisenhower administration as part of an effort to try to plan for a potential Soviet nuclear attack. But since then, they've expanded to address other types of emergencies as well. No presidential emergency action document has ever been released or even leaked. Not even Congress has access to them.
Wow.
Well, Congress shouldn't have access to them. They are created by the military, a small group of people that are non-military are read into it.
Okay.
But here she is at the Brennan Center. She talks about the fact that it was declassified and they knew that there was a Soviet nuclear potential problem. Why, even for these supposed learned researchers and professors, did they not then investigate how they got created, who created them, why did they exist? But even if you don't ask those questions, it's so obvious it had to do about national security and if our national security was at risk.
Yeah.
Now we have one more, and it's John Woo. If you could play that.
Okay, here we go.
John Yoo is a law professor at the University of California, Berkeley. While serving at the Justice Department after 9/11, he drafted the memo that justified the use of enhanced interrogation of terrorism suspects. Just to reassure our viewers a little bit, John, you've seen these PEADS?
I am not allowed to say whether I have or not.
Let me put it this way. You were at the Justice Department. Presumably, the Justice Department would have had to deal with these PEADS if a president wanted to implement one.
Yes, that's a fair way to say. The Justice Department and the office I worked in would review the legality of the PEADS because they would draw on presidential powers and congressional powers delegated to them.
Just a couple of weeks ago, Professor Yoo was at the White House discussing executive power with President Trump.
Because you never know what the emergency is going to be. So these PEADS and similar contingency planning documents, when we look back historically at them, sometimes they seem comic.
All right. Number one is that I don't believe a word that he said.
Really?
When he was asked, and he, I can't talk about it. That right there, you look at his facial expressions and his voice tone, and he was clueless about PEADS. When he then said, yes, of course the DOJ would be looking at it. No, they would not. Again, did Trump
Okay, he was
declare
caught, huh? Okay.
13848, a national emergency? The national emergency, look at his executive orders. And therefore, under a national emergency, the military supersedes. So it's really important. And when you think, and I have a lot of respect for John Yoo in other ways, and he's a very smart lawyer, but he did not handle that well, because if he couldn't talk about it, but then in his next breath, he's saying, well, of course we had to review it, you know that is BS.